And here we have it, the Pixel 6 Pro in Sorta Sunny. Now this came this morning and I didn't have time before work to unbox it and all that kind of stuff and do a video, so just got it out of the box, cracked on with the day, and I've had about 12 hours with it now, and to be honest I just want to share some first initial impressions and opinions and things that I've seen that concern me a little bit, and things that I've seen that I really like. So let's get straight into it. Now in terms of design and colour, I honestly really like it. Yellow is my favourite colour in general, and the fact that I can get a yellow phone, it's not the brightest of yellows, but the fact that I've got a yellow phone now, I actually really like it, and I don't want to put a case on it. I've been using it all day without a case. I love it, the feel of it, the look of it. It's so unique. People see it, there's no way that this is anything to do with iPhone or iOS. So I really like it. Now, onto things that I've noticed throughout the day today. So, the fingerprint scanner. There's been a lot of talk about the fingerprint scanner, and I've got some concerns with it. It is very slow. Compared to my OnePlus 9 Pro, it's incredibly slow. So, you have to, it does work, but you have to kind of hold it there. It's not an instant kind of opening, see? If I want it to be an instant opening, I'd take my thumb off. It doesn't, it just caught it. But this would work like every time on my 9 Pro, just doing that. And then you have to hold it for longer. It needs like 2 vibrations to unlock. It's really weird. So I have registered my thumb 3 times, and I've done this twice now. So this is the second time through that I've registered my thumb. And it's not really got that much better. It's the same as it was when I initially did it, when I set up the phone. And I just feel like it's a little bit slow compared to the OnePlus 9 Pro. I felt like that was actually a really fast and reliable fingerprint scanner. This feels a little bit slower, unfortunately. I did experience some heat when I first downloaded all my apps and first set up the phone. Obviously it downloads everything and it has to update everything, and it works quite hard to do all that, but it did get quite warm quite fast. And I also felt like it happened when I was watching some videos earlier. It got quite warm quite quick. Not something I'm majorly concerned about. I didn't see any heating errors or anything like that on the screen, no messages, but it's just something to be aware of and something I'll keep an eye on over time. Now the display is awesome. It's so bright inside, it's really fluid. You can really tell it's 120Hz high refresh rate. I absolutely love it. But there are a couple of things I need to mention. So the curved edges don't bother me too much. I thought they would, but they don't bother me too much initially. And overall, I do really like the display. But in developer settings, in developer options, I'll show you. There's a setting where you can turn on show refresh rate. Let me find it. There it is, show refresh rate. So if you turn that on, it tells you the refresh rate of the screen. But it's always only at 60Hz or 120Hz, as you can see. It's always only at 60Hz or 120Hz. So if I open an app, I start scrolling, 120Hz. If I close it, leave it on the home screen, 60Hz. If I lock the phone, you can see, I don't know if you can see, it stays at 120Hz. It says it's at 120Hz. I'm not touching anything, I'm not moving the phone. Nothing's going on the screen, and it's at 120Hz. So my questions are, firstly, is it at 60 and 120? So is it only at 60 and 120? If that is the case, what is the point in LTPO? Because it's meant to be able to go from 10 to 120 and change all the way up and down. But in this case, I can only see it going between 60 and 120. So either the phone's display isn't changing between anything between 60 and 120, it's just at those two, or the phone is telling me that it's 60 and 120, but actually it's not that. So it's either the phone is lying to me and it is actually changing refresh rate, or the panel, the display, isn't actually going any lower than 60Hz. So one of them's happening, and I don't know which one it is. I don't know why they would say show refresh rate in the settings and actually not even show it properly, which is like, that's why I think that this could be right, what it's showing. If it isn't showing it properly and it's actually going less than 60 and between 60 and 120, but it just says 60 and 120, then it doesn't make sense. Why is that even in the developer options, that setting, when it's not even telling you what it is? Anyway, the good news is that look at YouTube. The YouTube app runs at 120 Hz, which for me is awesome. On the OnePlus 9 Pro, it ran at 60 Hz, and I could tell straight away. I opened the YouTube app, and it was always at 60 Hz. I opened this today and instantly noticed it was so much smoother, so I had to check it out, and it is 120 Hz. OnePlus, you failed at this. Google smashed it out the park. So overall, the display is great. It's really bright. Like I've said, 120 Hz is awesome, but I do have that concern about the refresh rate. Now, as you probably saw from other videos, this yellow colour and the white colour do show an antenna band or an antenna kind of strip at the top. And I'm assuming that's there obviously to let the signals through for the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth and all that kind of stuff. They have them kind of dotted around the phone, one on the side, on each side actually, and on the bottom. But this one on the top stood out to me quite a lot through the videos I was watching. And I can say that it's less obvious having it in front of me now. Obviously when you're using the phone, you're just looking at the display. Whereas when you're looking at it on a video, you try and pick all the different parts about the phone. So it stands out more on a video for me than it does when I'm actually using the phone day to day. So I don't really mind it. I don't take my eyes off the display. I'm only looking at that. I'm not really looking at that top bar. Yeah, it is kind of weird and annoying. I wish it wasn't that colour. I wish it wasn't so different to the actual rail of the phone, but it is, and it's noticeable on the white and the yellow, not quite as noticeable on the black version. So if you're worried about that, just get the black version, but I prefer the white and the yellow colours. I've heard some people complain about the button placement on the Pixel 6 XL. For me, there is no issue whatsoever. I've used basically every Pixel other than the Pixel 1. I don't think I owned it for too long, but I did use it for a bit. So I've used the 1, the 2XL, the 3XL, the 4XL, the Pixel 5, the Pixel 4a. I've used loads of them, and they've all basically got the same layout where the power button is above the volume rocker. So for me, it was no surprise, and oh, there we go, not working. It's no surprise that it's there. And I don't have any issues. I mean, buttons are buttons. If you get used to them over time, you won't notice any difference. The speakers, from what I've seen so far, are really, really solid. Obviously, I've used them watching YouTube and stuff like that. And I've also had 0 app crashes on this phone on the Pixel 6 Pro so far. I've seen people on Twitter complain about apps crashing on Android 12. I've had no issues yet. Granted, I've been using it for 12 hours. It's not like I've even used it for a full day yet. But I've had no issues in terms of apps crashing. Android 12 has actually been a joy to use. It takes some time getting used to with all the new UI elements and how all the buttons look. But when you do, I think it's really good. It really makes it a lot easier to use. And obviously there's some improvements in the settings as well. So I've really enjoyed it and I've had no problems with it. And the last thing I want to say is I actually commented on Twitter a few days ago when I was in store about the haptics. So if you don't follow me on Twitter, go follow me on there. I commented about the haptics a few days ago, saying that I felt the Pixel 6 Pro's haptics were actually weaker and less punchy than the Pixel 6 haptics. Granted, they were both in like their holders. I was using them in the holders, and since I've got the Pixel 6 Pro in hand, the haptics feel really good. I've not got any issues about the haptics now. I felt like it was a little bit weak when I first tried it, but what I'm trying right now feels nothing like that. Yeah, the haptics have been really solid compared to what I was expecting after using it in store, so I've got no issues with that whatsoever. Here it is, the Pixel 6 Pro. Let's just give you a closer look at the colour. You can see the sort of yellow. It is really nice in person. It looks better in person than it does on photos. I really like it. It stands out, obviously. Not many phones kind of look like this with this colour. So yeah, I really like it. And then the display on the front, I mean, the fingerprint scanner, like I said, doesn't always live up to the hype. Speaking of hype, the cameras, I need to test them out quite a bit over the coming days and coming weeks. I've seen a lot of different opinions and stuff on Twitter, and I think there was a lot of hype generated around a new sensor and Google software working with that, thinking it'll blow everything out of the water. It doesn't seem to have done that, but let's just see over time. As long as it is reliable, that's all I really want. And obviously Pixels are known for that, so I'm looking forward to the camera. And yeah, it's been 12 hours with the Pixel 6 Pro. Just thought I'd give you a quick kind of first look of it and my initial thoughts and opinions on it. Like I said, I've only used it for 12 hours. If there's anything you want to know, let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel already. I would greatly appreciate it. I've got a lot of Pixel content coming, and I just can't wait to use this long term. This is basically my daily phone now. I don't use anything else. My main SIM is in this. So yeah, I love it. That camera bump though, it is big. That is a big boy. But I like it because when you stick it on a table, there's no rocking. There is no rocking anymore. So you can actually use it without a case, which is what I'm doing right now. Anyway, this was FoxTech. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.